Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3, he's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And last week, you said you were concerned about the Yankees. I wasn't as concerned about the Yankees, but right now, I think we got to have concern for the Yankees with the way they've been playing, because they have lost 10 of their last 12. They've lost 12 of their last 15. Their offense has really started to struggle. They've scored 8 runs in their last 7 games. They don't have a closer right now. I mean, I think Chapman's eventually going to take it over now that Clay Holmes on the DL. So the closer situation, that's a question mark. The starting pitching, yes, it's been better of late, but it's definitely been inconsistent. So this Yankee team right now, they are really struggling. I think there has to be concern. You said it last week. You were concerned. Right now, I am definitely concerned.
Yeah, you have to be. Since the All-Star break, they're 8-17, which is the 3rd worst record in all Major League Baseball, only in front of the Detroit Tigers and Pittsburgh Pirates. That's how bad they've been since the All-Star break. And they're 20-27 since June 26th. Like, this has been almost 2 months now of kind of playing under 500 baseball. And yeah, you said it. The offense has been horrible. I know Sands been out. Judge is 1 for his last 14. Again, he's had an unbelievable year, but somebody's got to pick up the slack. I know DJ's on the IL now. It sounds like they're calling up Florial and Oswald Cabrera, but again, and then, Boone last night goes, well, we put Marlon Gonzalez in there for a spark.
What spark? He's absolutely terrible. He's absolutely horrible. And you've said it. This offense has been absolutely terrible, and it's been everyone. It's been Judge. It's been Rizzo. It's been Torres. It's been DJ when he's been in there. It's been Donaldson. Hicks has been absolutely horrible. Horrible.
To the moon.
Oh, my God. He's been absolutely terrible. I am done with Aaron Hicks. That at-bat on Monday night was absolutely terrible. He should have been done right there. No wonder they're bringing Flory up, because you just can't play Hicks. You can't have Hicks in this lineup. He's been that bad. But the whole lineup's been terrible. And that was the thing this year, and that was the biggest reason they were as good as they were, is because of how good this lineup was, how well Rizzo was hitting, how well Stanton was hitting when he was in there, how well Judge was hitting, what Carpenter was doing in the lineup. And even guys that are struggling now were hot then. Donaldson was hot. Torres was hot. Those guys were hot. Now, no one's hot at all. And this offense is just absolutely putrid right now. Right now, it's been good all year, but it's been putrid lately.
Yeah, it's been ugly. It's horrible at bats. It's just runners a scoring position they can't do anything with. They just again extra innings the other night against the Red Sox. It's like, dude, why is it so hard to try to bunt a bait? Especially because Torres and Donaldson they both were missing fastballs right down the heart of the plate, and he can't catch up to those. Something's off, something's wrong, and those two have been horrible. Yeah, it's been the whole lineup lately. They don't have a leadoff hitter right now. I know Benintendi's, he got a hit. He got scored on last night.
Oh, my God.
And I wonder
what you're going to say.
I wonder because Kauffman Stadium is there's just so much outfield room there where he could kind of just, find some space out there. While Yankee Stadium, we know it's not a big park whatsoever. And I wonder if that's maybe one of the problems he's having right now. Just not as big of a park, because, he hasn't been great. I know he got a triple last night, but, they need more out of him. But, it's been just up and down the lineup. Like, Hicks and Donaldson are total making $35 million. That's more than what the Pirates payroll. I think it's close to the Orioles payroll. It's pathetic. And
you brought up Benintendi, and this hasn't been a good signing so far. He was brought here to be the leadoff hitter. And Boone took him out of there right off the bat because he couldn't do it. And he hit really well for average this year in Kansas City. He's been absolutely terrible since he's been here. He's been absolutely horrendous for this team. So it's just been absolutely pathetic for the Yankees so far. It's just and the thing is you look down and Justin came back as Justin. I was talking about how bad Benintendi's been. It's been awful. He's been awful too. That's been a bad trade by Cashman.
Yeah, it has been, and I thought that was gonna be a great pickup for him because he's just such a great hitter, but. Yeah, for whatever reason, it just hasn't fit yet. And I think it's I don't know if it's a difference with the ballparks or whatnot, but it's been horrible ceasefire time.
I am fired. I definitely am. Because you thought this team for the first 3 months of the season, you thought during that Astro series when they had those two come from behind wins against the Astros, you thought this team was special. You really thought this team was a special team. They were getting comparisons to the '98 Yankees. But the way they're playing right now, I mean, they'll be lucky to get to the ALCS the way they're playing right now. Right now the Astros are clearly the favorite in the American League. Don't start calling me an Astros fan. I mean, I know I've been hyping them up for years, but don't start calling me an Astros fan. I'm just telling the truth. They're clearly the best team in the American League. So I mean, this team right now would be lucky to get to the ALCS.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they can't beat anybody right now. You can't beat the struggling Boston Red Sox who. They finally had a series winning to the American League East this past weekend. And when they played the Astros, their offense was going well, but their rotation for the most part shut them down. And their bullpen's been great mostly against them. I know they've had success against Presti over the years, but
if it wasn't for the Astros bullpen, they probably would have gotten swept. So they did have success against the Astros bullpen, but in the doubleheader, the Astros bullpen had success against them.
Yeah. And that's a major concern, especially the way they're swinging that now. But this is a team I thought we were going to see all year. It's just a mediocre baseball team. That's really what I thought because Josh Donaldson's not the same guy, And again, he's on the roster next year. He's making another $25 million next year. We're going to have to deal with that next year, even though I think at some point you may have to DFA him if this thing gets any worse. Hicks is still under contract for the next couple of years. If they don't sign Aaron Judge.
Oh, if they don't resign, don't even. We'll get to that. That would be the fan base will turn on Cashman. Cashman would probably get fired if that happened. The fan base would completely turn on Cashman, but that's another story for another day. But it's been bad all around right now. Yeah, as you said, Donaldson is not his best days are behind him. Torres has been average. DJ has been average. Kiner Falefa. Outside of that one game, he has struggled as well. I mean, he saved us in that one game where he hit his first home run and had that bunt single, but he's been average too. Hicks is absolutely horrendous. Benintendi's been horrendous since he's came here. And when Judge struggles, this lineup is going to struggle because he's been so good all year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you knew at some point he was going to have to cool off. Like it was just going to happen. He was just on a ridiculous pace. it was going to happen, and it's a horrible time for it to happen. But yeah, it's been bad. I know they've tried Andujar, they've given him another shot, but he hasn't really done much. Like the catch, Trevino starting to cool up. But yeah, Connor Falefa, the small ball, he hit the 2-run homer the other night. But yeah, this lineup's been putrid. And again, Cat's been built a mediocre team, and we're seeing a mediocre team. For instance, we've seen a mediocre team the last almost 2 months now. As I mentioned, through 2027 since June 26th. It's a mediocre team he built. They got hot. They were hot for a while, but at some point you knew this team was going to cool off and start, playing more to their baseball cards, the back of the baseball cards. And it's happened in a huge way. And, it's the line has been horrible. And the pitching stats, they've really pitched well the last 2 weeks too. They've been in every game.
Yeah, Tyone's pitched better. Cortez is outside of that 3-run homer. He's pitched well. Garrett Cole, and that's the one saving grace. Garrett Cole's pitched well the last 2 starts. I know they're not against the best lineups, the Mariners and the Rays, but he's pitched well the last 2 starts. That's the one saving grace there. Yeah, Cole has pitched well. Even Herman has pitched well too. Montez was better in his last start. So the rotation hasn't been too bad recently. But yeah, the offense has been bad, and it could continue to struggle outside of Stanton and Judge because of the age of some of these guys. Rizzo is old. DJ is in his 30s. Glaber, I think, is just an average player at best. Donaldson, he's in his 30s. Hicks is absolutely horrendous. Benintendi, honestly, I think that earlier this year in Kansas City was a fluke. He can't hit for any power. So I think this lineup could continue to struggle. I don't think it's going to get. I think this lineup peaked in June. I think this lineup is going to continue to struggle, especially without Carpenter, because really there's 2 guys you can count on in this lineup. It's Judge and it's Stanton. And I know Rizzo is having a really good year, but I think he's starting to struggle recently. He's really starting to struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw the struggles he had the other night, and he started swinging at bat at you see the frustration the other night from him. Yeah, Stan again. He's a guy that he's been healthy for the most part this year, but yeah, he's now he's been out for almost a month, and they really missed him. Carpenter again. It's crazy to sit here thinking that Matt Carpenter is going to be such a huge loss, but he's been great, and Bader too. Like again, he's a great center fielder. He's gonna take Aaron Hicks' spot, but he's not great with the bat though. He's got great speed, but he's not great with the bat.
He's not going to help offensively, and we lost depth in our rotation. That was a horrendous trade by Cashman. Horrendous.
And Montgomery's been great for St. Louis.
Yeah. Terrible trade. Terrible. Absolutely terrible trade.
Bad. Yeah.
Terrible trade.
It was. And I don't Bader's back next year, but yeah, I don't get it. We're gonna have to and the thing is too, with Florio coming up, I know he's getting a nice chance, and maybe he gets more of an everyday role with how bad Hicks has been, but he hasn't done much. Cabrera again, they should have called it Perez instead of Cabrera. Perez again hit another home run last night to give him the lead. I think it was the game-winning home run. So I don't know why you don't call up a guy like that. Who, if you want to let it spark, why don't you bring up one of your best prospects? Cabrera's like 13th, I believe, 12th or 13th. But yeah, I don't get why the Yankees kind of sit on these prospects and kind of wait till you're the Yankees. You should be able to pay anybody you want. So I don't know if the service.
Yeah, stop sitting on the prospects. Get rid of Aaron Hicks. He's absolutely horrendous. You didn't need to trade for Benintendi. He hasn't been good. Stop. Yeah, stop it with the whole. Bring these once they're ready to go. Bring these prospects up. One of Cashman's best things he did was when he brought up Glaber and Andujar in 2018. When Drury and Wade weren't doing anything, he brought up Glaber and Andujar, and the offense was really good. So bring the prospects up.
Yeah, absolutely. Even that end of 2016 when they brought up Judge and
that was
Sanchez,
great. That was such valuable experience for those 2 guys, and it helped them get to the ALCS the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It did. Connor Falefa's got 1 year left, but then that starting shortstop position is probably be open because I don't see them re-signing Connor Falefa for a long-term deal. So. Yeah, give Peraza some run here. I guess you're giving Cabrera some run, but again, I think Peraza is probably gonna be the better one. But yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, Cashman's usually kind of knows the time of bringing these guys up, but yeah, I don't know what he's kind of sitting on here waiting for. They must think something. But at this point, but like look at the Braves have done. They just signed Michael Harris again. 8 years. They've been great at that. They just called up this dude last week from AA, and he debuted.
Yeah.
See, 2 months out over the monster.
Their situation in second base and center field were not good, and they improved those situations. They don't just let it happen. The Yankees are just letting I mean, now they're bringing up Fleury, but for a while the Yankees were just letting Aaron Hicks not be any good, and that just can't happen. You can't just let it happen when you have a farm system. Bring guys up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they were sitting here kind of resting on the lead, and again, it's still in 9 games, but the way they're playing and they're playing the Rays again, that thing's gonna keep sweeping. Especially this roster or schedule you got coming up. You still got the Rays for 1 more. You got the Blue Jays coming in for 4. Then you got the Mets where you're gonna have to face Scherzer and DeGrom.
Yeah, it's Scherzer and DeGrom back to back. Now, thank God for the Yankees. The Blue Jays are playing poorly too, so they could definitely at least get a split there. But yeah, the Mets, you got Scherzer and DeGrom. That's a team that already beat you twice. At Citi Field. Scherzer pitched really well against you. So. Yeah, it's not going to get any easier it's going to get easier for them, but in the next week, because they go to Oakland and Anaheim. But in the next week, it's not going to get easier for the Yankees with the Blue Jays coming in and then the Mets coming in.
No, I know the Mets have lost the first 2 of the Braves here, but they got Scherzer, DeGrom going the next 2 nights, so you expect them to win one of the next 2. But yeah, the Mets have been rolling. Yeah, the Blue Jays have kind of been struggling, but they've played better. They played better in July. I know August has been a tough month for them. But yeah, I expect the Blue Jays come in here and play well. I think they are playing a little bit better than the Yankees are at this moment in time. So, but yeah, it's not, Scherzer, DeGrom, you can't hit. Again, Ryan Yarbrough came in with a 7 ERA. You couldn't touch him.
That's pathetic. That's inexcusable, and that's absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, Hicks had him on the ropes, and yeah, that double play, I called that thing a mile away. You just knew the way the team was hitting the bat. That was double play was bound to happen. So. Yeah, the team, again, you're still, you scored almost 600 runs still, but yeah, it's just this offense lately. It's been horrible. And yeah, it's a lot of it has to go on Brian Cashman and the way the team was built. And they're finally coming back down to earth. And it's dramatic. It's been a dramatic kind of fall back to earth here. It's been bad. I know we did not, again, they weren't going to play 700 baseball a year, but the way they've been playing.
We thought they'd be going we thought a stretch like this, they'd be going 6-6 instead of 2-10.
Yeah. We thought 500 baseball, but that they haven't even been close to that. And and this is the time too. And I know we both kind of wanted Buck in as a manager. They're deeply regretting not having a Buck Showalter as a manager because you've seen what he's done with that Mets team.
Yeah.
They need a guy like that at this time.
I mean, Boone's done a good job, but yeah, you said it, at a time like this, you got to have the guy like Buck.
Yeah. Boone's done a good job. And again, he's kind of dealt the cards he's gotten with the team. But this is where you can't coddle your players. You're in New York. I don't get why we can't I don't know why managers can't criticize their players anymore. I just don't. If you can't take the criticism, why are you playing professional baseball? I don't get it. This is a time where you need to be in that dugout as a manager, kind of calling some guys out and getting on some guys. Because, again, this is New York. This is an organization that's built winning. You haven't won since 2009. You're probably not winning the way they're playing. Playing right now, they ain't. The Nationals will sweep them, or in the ALCS right now. This is a time where you need a guy like Buck Showalter to start ruffling some feathers. And and watching that Jeter documentary too. There's no Derek Jeter in that locker room. I know Judge would be the captain if he reached, but Judge isn't the guy that's going to call out a lot of these guys and kind of get their attention. You don't have a Jeter in that locker room either.
No, this is not like how it was in the 90s. We had a Jeter and you had an O'Neal. I mean, this did not, with Jeter and O'Neal, this stuff did not happen. Those guys would not allow this stuff to happen. Yeah, Judge is great, but he's just not, and I hope the Yankees re-sign him, but right now he's not the leader Derek Jeter was. No, and I know there's not a lot of those guys, but yeah, you need somebody to start calling out some guys. Again, it'd be great to have a Jeter that's just as a leader. Yeah, it's Judge would be the captain who re-signs here. We all know that, but yeah, he's not the guy that's going to start kind of calling you out. And they do need somebody like that. Again, I know, I don't know who that guy would be, but they do need somebody here because I know they had a team meeting last week, but that absolutely has not worked. It has not worked at all. Now, getting to the closer situation, with Clay Holmes on the DL, if Aroldis Chapman continues to pitch the way he is, I think he definitely should get that closer's role back. There's no question about that. If he continues to stay hot, he should definitely get the closer role.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been great. He's pitched really well. He's answered the bell, and again, maybe that Holmes kind of taking it there, or with Holmes taking his job early on in the year, kind of really got him going there, and really motivated him because he's been really good. And yeah, with him going back on the or with Holmes going the IL, yeah, he's probably gonna start getting the chance to close out some games here. So yeah, he's been really good. The location's been good. It's he's been throwing strikes, which again Holmes has not done. So yeah, I think Chapman should be able to get that closer role back with the way he's pitched lately.
Absolutely. So moving to this weekend series with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays 10 games behind the Yankees because they've really struggled too. They've actually lost. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Friday night we got Thursday tomorrow we got Frankie Montas against Jose Barrios. I think the Yankees find a way to pull that one out. I think they pull that one out. Saturday, Tyone against Gossman. I think the Blue Jays win that. Saturday, Cole against Koricki. I think the Yankees win that one. And then Sunday's game, Cortez against Manoah. I think the Blue Jays win that. I think they split this weekend with the Blue Jays. I think they play a little bit better, but I think they split with the Blue Jays this weekend because the Yankees aren't playing well enough for me to have confidence in them winning a series. Yeah,
I got to go with the split. I think they got to hit Barrios. He's been so bad. He just gave up 8 runs to a Cleveland team, which, again, Cleveland's decent, but that lineup's not great whatsoever. And he gave up 8 runs in 4 innings. You got to get him there. Yeah, I think Gausman gets it done against Tyone. That's going to be a tough one for. Tyone's been pitching better, but I could see them again losing a 2-1 game. Yeah, Sayaka Kikuchi has not been good, and Cole's pitched really well, so you would think they could hit Kikuchi, but I just but we'll see. And then Manoah, yeah, they never hit Alex Manoah. Nestor's been pitching, he pitched great after the first 3 batters last night, but it was too much. It was, offense did nothing for him. So yeah, they should be able to get a split this weekend, but I would not be shocked if they lose 3 out of 4. I really wouldn't. And again, that could be a horrible homestand because they ain't beating DeGrom or Scherzer. There's no chance they're beating the Mets next week.
Yeah, I mean, the best they'll do with the Mets is a split. So I mean, realistically, they to have a good homestand, to salvage this homestand, they got to win tonight, and they got to split the 2 games with the Blue Jays because they're not getting more than a split with the Mets. That's a guarantee. But we'll move on to the Red Sox, and they've been playing a little bit better of late. They've won 4 out of 5. I think the season for them is going to come down to that one series, and it's this weekend against Baltimore. They don't only need to win the series; they need to sweep the series because if they sweep them, then they're like I think they'd probably be a half game or even tied with the Orioles, and that would and seeing which teams they're behind. They're behind the Orioles, they're behind the Blue Jays, they're behind the Twins and the White Sox. They need to get ahead of one of these teams. They need to leap one of these teams to have any chance to compete for this last wild card spot. And I think it all starts this week against the Orioles, and that's why the season is basically this weekend. They need to sweep them, or their season is over.
Yeah, they've been playing better, but yeah, they got to leapfrog one of those teams. The White Sox have been very up and down. The Twins kind of been struggling since the trade deadline, but yeah, it's a big one, and we've criticized Chaim Bloom a lot, but the Tommy Pham pickup and the Reese McGuire, they both been pretty good. I know the Matt Vasquez move we're all confused about, but
the best pickup he made though was getting Michael Wacha. Wacha has been when healthy. Wacha pitched really well on Sunday night against the Yankees.
Yeah, he was great, and he was a guy that really showed the last couple of years with the Mets and Rays. But yeah, he's had a really big bounce back year, and he's been phenomenal this year for Boston. He's been huge. But yeah, they're starting to play a bit better here. The pitching staff's starting to kind of get it going a bit. Kike Hernandez should be back soon. I think, it sounds like he's on rehab.
What about Trevor Story? That's the biggest one.
I believe, too, he's supposed to be coming back maybe this weekend or I think he's supposed to be doing some rehab stuff. I don't know if he's doing rehab because I know he's traveling with the team with Pittsburgh. So it sounds like he may come back this weekend against Baltimore. They may activate him, so he's getting closer as well.
I think they need him back against the Orioles because they need to sweep the series. Even if they're like 2.5 behind the Orioles. There's just way too many teams in front of them. They need to. This needs to be a sweep. They need to sweep it or they're done. So I think Story's got to play.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, if the Orioles take 2 out of 3 from them, or at least get one game, they could kind of stay up there. They can keep that at least 3-game lead going out, or with ending the game Sunday. They're in a lot of trouble because they're done with the White Sox, which I think they split with them this year. They might have the Twins. They go to Minnesota at the end of the month, so you do have Minnesota one more time. But yeah, absolutely. I think you got to be able to get the sweep here in Baltimore this weekend. Kind of with some confidence there. And yeah, they've been playing a little bit better. They got them last Thursday. So yeah, they get a sweep here. Again, they're right back in that wild card. They're right there, hunting down, third place team, which right now is Toronto, but we'll see by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, we definitely will. And this weekend's pitching matchups Friday night. You got Crawford against Lyles. That's a tough matchup. I'm going to go with the Orioles there. Walk against Bradish. Obviously, I'll take the Red Sox there. And then Pavetta against Kramer. I'm going to go with the Orioles. I don't think they come out victorious. I think we're saying by next week the Red Sox playoff chances are over. I think they lose 2 out of 3 this weekend in Baltimore. And Sunday in Williamsport.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. Again, who thought that game would actually matter?
I know. Who thought it would mean something more to the Orioles than the Red Sox?
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody did. So yeah, it's actually Sunday night's actually meaningful game. But I think Friday, I think the Sox get it. Carter Crawford's been pitching a lot better. I know Jordan Lyles has been pretty good too for the O's, but I'll take the Red Sox on Friday night. Saturday night, I think Waka knocks off Kyle Bradish. He's been struggling. So, and then Sunday, I do think the Orioles find a way to win one game this weekend. And I think that's at Williamsport on Sunday night. So I got the Red Sox walking out with winning 2 out of 3 this weekend against the Baltimore Orioles.
It could go either way. The Red Sox need it. They need it. In my opinion, they need a sweep, or their season is over. But we got to get to the big story in Major League Baseball, and that is Fernando Tatis Jr., who has been suspended for 80 games for the use of PEDs. And I think this is a completely selfish move for Fernando Tatis and an immature move. You heard Mike Clemenger's comments. I mean, he was very, very upset. The Padres organization are very upset. They're getting tired of Tatis. They gave him this huge deal, and now he's acting this way. They're getting really, really tired of the immaturity from Fernando Tatis. And now, I mean, he's really hurting his team being suspended. He's suspended for the rest of this season and probably the first half of next season. Very, very immature of Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the one problem giving a 22-year-old, $340 million. And, if there's that issue, those kind of immaturity issues, again, we saw it's second time with the motorcycle accident. You would think after the first one, you got all this money now, you're going to be careful, maybe sell the thing, but he didn't. And it's been horrible.
Tommy, he should be kicked out of the league for life. I mean, I don't know about for life, but the dudes that take drugs, I mean that's a strong stance. I mean, they should at least be suspended the way Tatis is. I mean, I think baseball has definitely done a better job with this than they did back in the day. I mean, back in the old days, I mean, so many people were taking it. Now, I like the fact that they're suspending guys for this. Some people like Tommy, they want these guys out of the league. I can understand that. I think the suspension is fair, though, 80 games, and because this really hurts this team in terms of competing for a championship.
Yeah, I think this team still has a chance. I think that's why they brought in Soto for the protect zero tolerance policy.
It says zero tolerance to PEDs. So you go away. That could be that. That's a good point there. I mean, because we still see, guys getting suspended for, even with how strict the rules are now, we're still seeing guys get suspended for PEDs. Yeah,
and his thing about the ringworm is, I don't know if he actually had it or not. But even if, let's say he did, why don't you call either the MLBPA or even the Padres medical staff and ask, hey, what's in this drug that they're trying to give me? Or is there something else if I have ringworm? Is there another drug that I could take without getting, without testing for, test positive for PEDs? It's a 5-10 minute phone call. Why don't you do something like that too? That's a that's why I just don't get it. What goes through his head there. And Tom's comment,
Yeah,
or
it
at least
says
put a clause in the contract. Yeah.
80-game suspension, no pay. Yeah, definitely. Take money away from that. Would definitely would really clean it up.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Again, something like that. Yeah, they're definitely guys are going to be very careful of what they're taking and make sure they're not crossing the line. Because absolutely. Those guys do not want to. We saw it the 2020. Those guys, they did not. We actually even this year with the lockout, these guys want to get paid. Their full season.
Yeah.
That's why they caved in. So yeah, you take away their pay, it'll clean up the sport very quickly.
Yeah, and he liked your comment exactly, Justin. These dudes are cheating and got caught. If it were a medical reason, they can communicate it and figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like you said. They got they cheated and they got caught. And yeah, and as Tom's original point, at least take their pay away. That would definitely clean things up. And it's sad to see Tatis get suspended like this, but also very, very immature to see him do this to his team.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And again, they're a good team. Again, they got Bob Melvin in that dugout, who is probably the right guy for the job for this situation, which is good. But actually, a question for you too: if you're the Padres and you had to, obviously they can't pay Soto as well and Tatis, would you pay if they had the opportunity to pay Soto, whatever he wants for the future for the next 15 years? You sign Soto and trade Tatis, or you keep Tatis and let Soto walk?
I got to think about that one because I think Tatis has so much talent. I think you stick with him. But I think one more mistake, you definitely think of maybe trading him because of his lack of maturity. But I just think with the talent he has, I think you do both. I think you pay Tatis and you keep Soto.
Yeah, I in the World Series. He showed he showed that 20-year-old kid the way he was on that stage against the Astros. I think he's one of the best pure hitters in all of baseball. Tatis, I know he's got all the talent in the world, but he hasn't been able to stay on the field. He's got, now with the PED stuff, I try trade him and re-sign Soto for the next 13, 14 years. How long?
Yeah, we'll see. And the thing is, you would get a lot back. Even though Tatis has been immature, you get a lot back if you did trade Tatis. But for me at this point, I'm still hanging on to Tatis just because of the talent he has.
You could go either way in this. Yeah, Tatis got all the talent in the world, and we've seen it. You just hope he's able to stay on the field now or after the suspension, and he could be an impact guy for the Padres. Because again, it would be so good for baseball with Soto and Tatis being on the same team. That's a huge kind of big thing there for baseball. If those two could kind of stay on the field, because there's both of those two are two of the best guys in all of baseball.
Exactly. So now we'll get to how this affects the Padres as a team. And do you still think the Padres are a playoff team without Tatis? It's going to be close, but I still think they do. I think Josh Hader he did struggle in that one outing against the Giants, but I think he does a good job as a closer. I think their offense with Soto and Machado is good enough. And I think their starting pitching with Musgrove and Darvish is good enough. So I do think they're a playoff team without Tatis.
Yeah, I do too. I think, adding Hader big in that back in the rotation. I think getting Brandon Drew was insurance, just in case of something if Tatis wasn't able to come back, if he had a setback or anything. So I think adding Brandon Drew was a nice kind of piece there for insurance, just in case. And with Soto there, with Machado, the rotation's been good. Yeah, Musgrove, Benaya, Clevenger. I think the Padres have enough to be able to get to the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah, I agree there. Now, the big question is are they a World Series contender without Juan Soto? Now, I think they're significantly worse than the Mets, Dodgers, and Braves. I think they're significantly worse than those teams. But knowing in baseball that, and we saw it with Bryce Harper left the Nationals, and the Nationals won a World Series. Ronald Acuna got hurt last year, and the Braves won a World Series. One player doesn't make as huge of a difference in baseball as like a quarterback or a superstar in the NBA. So I actually do think they're I think they're good enough. I think their rotation's good enough. I think their lineup is good enough. And they got Josh Hader as their closer. And if Josh Hader can get hot, I do think they are a World Series contender.
I do too. I think they have the talent. I know Tatis is out, but yeah, I think this team's got the talent. Even Josh Bell too is a pretty good hitter as well. So I think the Padres have the talent. I think the rotation to do it. They got the guy Josh Hader that you want closing out games. And the thing about Hader too is he can go multiple innings for you too. So he can get you 6 outs if you're bullpen trouble. He can even get you 9 outs if you have to one night. So yeah, I think the Padres definitely could be. Again, yeah, right now they're probably the 4th best team in the National League. But yeah, we've seen it happen. I know they're only 11 games over 500, but remember, the Braves last year at the trade deadline were about 500. It just takes, you can get hot at the right time, September, October. You give yourself a chance. So yeah, absolutely. I think the Padres have a shot to be able to get to the World Series. I think they do have the talent, and they got a great manager, Bob Melvin, too. So yeah, I think the Padres could do it.
Yeah, I definitely think the manager makes a difference. I mean, last year with Chase Tingler, they didn't have a good manager. I think Bob Melvin, who's very underrated, definitely will make a difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Bob Melvin with the A's, again, that team was always in the playoff. And those A's team, too, always got better in the second half of the year. And I do think the Padres have been playing better. Now, it helped that they got Soto and Hader and Bell. But, yeah, I think this Padres team is better. I think, having a guy like Bob Melvin.
Absolutely. So, a safety got paid in the NFL, and the Jets avoided a major injury. But before we talk about that, you're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
So the Chargers today signed Derwin James to a 4-year, $76 million deal to make him the highest paid safety in the NFL at $19 million a year. And the thing about Derwin James is he's one of the top safeties in the league. He can do everything. He can stop the run. He's really good against he's really good against the pass. He can play. He's good. He's really good in coverage. He's got really good ball skills. He is one of the top safeties in the NFL. So on that end, I definitely get why the Chargers gave him this big contract, made him the highest paid safety. The issue, though, is his durability. He's missed 29 games in his 4-year career in the NFL. Missed the entire season in 2020. He missed most of the 2019 season. But this is a 2-time All-Pro. He's an outstanding player. And the big question is did the Chargers make the right move, knowing that they're going to have to pay Justin Herbert eventually a ton of money? Did they make the right move going out and signing Derwin James?
I think they did. I think he's the best safety in football. I know it's not a premium position, but when he's been on the field, he's been one of the best. He's been a 2-time All-Pro Bowl guy All-Pro guy when he's been healthy. I know that's a big question, but he does have a ton of talent. I know you got to pay Herbert in the future. They've had a great string here of their first-round picks. I know it's a risky one. Staley's a defensive guy. I do think they did make the right decision there. They've really done a great job developing that defense.
Oh, absolutely, obviously, and they made some additions too with Khalil Mack, with J.C. Jackson, and they got Asante Samuel Jr. too. So yeah, I think this defense is really good, and I think it's the right move too. You got one of the best safeties in football. You got to pay him. You could always figure out the salary cap. You could restructure contract. I definitely think the Chargers made the right move paying Derwin James.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been, he's had a really good career so far, outside of the injuries. But yeah, when he's been on the field, He's been a difference maker. I think you need those guys, especially in an AFC West where you got Derek Carr now with Devontae Adams. You obviously got Patrick Mahomes. You got Russell Wilson as well. So and none of those guys are really going anywhere immediately. Mahomes is going to be there for a while in Kansas City. Carr's going to be in Las Vegas for a while. Russell Wilson's got some good years left in front of him. So yeah, I think you need this guy to continue to compete in the AFC West, where it's going to be challenging the next couple of years. You're going to need some guys on the defense side of the ball there be difference makers, especially in the secondary. And they got a great one at Derwin James.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Now, Jets fans on Friday night must have been really, really scared seeing Zach Wilson go down, and we're fearing the worst. Torn ACL. It's only a knee injury. He is going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, but this is a huge, huge break for the Jets. He's probably only going to miss one game, the preseason game against the first game of the year against the Ravens. Actually, Joe Flacco's going to start against. It looks like Joe Flacco's going to get started against the Ravens. That's pretty cool, but the Jets dodged a major bullet here, only having Wilson out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. That looked bad, and I thought too that was a torn ACL. They survived the worst there, but yeah, I think it's I think it does hurt though. I know he's only gonna miss a month, but it does hurt. He misses 2 weeks of kind of preseason here, 2 weeks of kind of training camp of being a second-year guy and already missing time last year as well. I think you don't have to panic. But I think it's a little bit concern, though, for Zach Wilson, so that, he hasn't been fully healthy. And he just misses some time here practice, too, to just kind of develop some new kind of relationships with wide receivers. Bryce Hall coming in running back. You don't already have Kyle Beckman for the rest of the year. So, you're kind of already banged up there in the offensive line. So I think it's a little bit of a worry still. And are the Jets, could he miss maybe a couple more games? Second game of the year, because he's already missed, he's going to miss a couple of weeks here of the preseason. Will the Jets throw him to the fire too, week 2 if he's totally not ready to go?
Yeah, there's definitely some concern. Yeah, he could miss another week, not having chemistry with the receivers, and he has some durability issues. He got hurt last year for 4 weeks too, so yes, he has some durability issues. He's kind of small, so and this is kind of the year where if you're the Jets, you want to evaluate, is this the guy going forward? It's a major question mark right now because of his play on the field and because of his durability. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think he's got the talent. I think they brought in the right receivers that he's really good at the deep ball and all that. And I think, Elijah Moore is a great receiver for him for kind of what he likes to do. So I think the Jets have built around him. And it's kind of, I know we talked about last week, where it's a point where he's got to kind of take it over now. And he's got to really show it now because the Jets have helped him out here. But yeah, if he can't stay on the field, it's tough to get any rhythm. It's tough to build that rapport with your wide receivers, your running backs, your line. So yeah, it is a little bit worrisome, but yeah, I don't think it's anything to panic yet over. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Week 2, they play a Browns team that's pretty good defensively. We'll see what situation is at quarterback. But yeah, it's something where it is a little worry that he did miss some time last year, and that was a knee injury too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was another knee injury. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same knee or not, but little bit of concern there.
Absolutely. It definitely has to be concerned with Zach Wilson going into the season. But we're going to move on to your team, and the Pats and Panthers have had joint practices this week. And I think the biggest takeaway has been all the brawls have been going on in joint practices. There was a brawl today where Dietrich Wise, 2 brawls today. I think one of them was when Dietrich Wise pushed Christian McCaffrey out of bounds. Yep. There was a brawl there. There was another brawl. And then I think there was a brawl yesterday too where Kendrick Bourne got kicked out of practice. That's risky. I think wasn't he throwing a punch?
Yep.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, him and Wilkerson.
Wow.
Wilkerson as well. And Wilkerson, the other ball started to take because Wilkerson on kick return got hit by Kenny Robinson. I guess Robinson was dancing or on top of him, and that kind of annoyed the Patriot player. So that was second brawl today. So yeah, it's been a very for preseason. It's been a very fiery practice the last couple of days there in Foxborough.
And I saw Mike Reese say, "This is never gotten to this point. This is like the worst the fights have been since Bill Belichick has been here. So that has got to be concerning."
That's a little bit worried. I don't know if I'm panicking. I love the fire, though, from our guys, though. I do love – I heard Cole Strange in the middle of it yesterday, which I love. I'm actually – I love the fire that our team's showing. But, yeah, also the discipline there has to be there. Because, yeah, it's not – we can't be losing Kendrick Bourne in the middle of a game. Wise to defense at tackle spot we can't really lose. So, yeah, I like the fire, but yeah, there's a little bit where I know Bill got into him after the first one yesterday. I don't know if he had a team huddle yet today, but I assume he's not very happy.
Another thing about these joint practices, it looks like the defense for both teams are ahead of the offenses. And I think the Panthers' offense has been a little bit better today, but it looks and Mac Jones has been a little bit better today. But the big story has been the defenses have definitely been ahead of the offense for both teams. Yeah, and that's not surprising because both defenses are pretty good. Or we're pretty good last year. I think they're going to be decent this year.
Yeah, actually, so I heard Thursday from somebody who Boston Globe, who writes for the Boston Globe, said the Patriots did not play their starters, last week against Giants because they weren't ready. They just totally were not ready to play, which makes some sense now. But yeah, I think it's a good test this week for the Patriots against that Panthers front defensive line that's pretty good. They got some speed. So yeah, I think for the Patriots offense, it's a good test this week. And yeah, they showed a little bit. Today sounds like it's going a little bit better. It sounded like 2 minute drill yesterday. They were driving, but Mac kind of threw a hail there at the last second. It got picked off. But yeah, so it seems like today's going a little bit better than yesterday. But yeah, for the Panthers too, it sounds like the Panthers. Matt Rule said I'm playing my backups and I expect Bill to play the starters. So, so on Friday night, so it'll be interesting there. But yeah, it sounds like, maybe, Matt Rule doesn't want his, I guess, his first team offense go against the Patriots first team offense at the moment, which is interesting when you had a quarterback kind of situation like they do right now.
Yeah, let's get to that quarterback situation with Darnold and Mayfield. On Saturday, they had that preseason game against the Commanders. Mayfield drove down the field. They got a field goal, and then they got the turnover, and then Darnold threw a touchdown pass. But right now, I've been hearing that Mayfield has the edge, and he's picked up the playbook really quickly. So I'm hearing Mayfield has the edge. And in these joint practices, it looks like that according to David Newton, it looks like that Mayfield has the edge. Both players weren't great yesterday, but I think Mayfield, he had a good drive today, and then Darnold threw a pick against the Patriots won. So it looks like Mayfield has the edge. So I think after when they make this decision on Saturday or Sunday, I think Mayfield is going to be their number one quarterback.
Yeah, I do too. It seems like all kind of signs are pointing to Baker Mayfield. I think we've talked about it. We think Baker, not great, but he is better than Sam Darnold. And yeah, so I think Baker did play well a lot, in drive getting down to a field goal. And yeah, Darnold kind of, Darnold took advantage of a turnover, which you always want. So yeah, Darnold kind of takes advantage. So Darnold took advantage of that. But yeah, I think Baker's just a little bit better than Sam Darnold right now. But yeah, I think Baker should win that job. When that comes out this weekend from Matt Rule.
We got some comments. Pats and Panthers banging out in practice. I love it. No, dude, come on. Matt Corral is not better. Corral is awful. Corral is not better than Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. There is a reason that it's Baker and Darnold, and Corral's not even close in that quarterback competition. Thanks for the comment, but there is no way possible that Matt Corral is better than both quarterbacks.
Yeah, Corral's struggling. Yeah, he was bad. Now I part of it, maybe in 4 to 5 years, that Corral can kind of more learn of an NFL offense and not what he ran at Ole Miss is a lot different what he's running now. Yeah, but yeah, right now it's not even close. I'm not saying that yet. Dude, I'm not saying Corral's a bum, but right now he's not as good as the other two quarterbacks. I'm not saying he's a bum. I think we'll see what he is in this league. We don't know what he could be. I'm not saying he's a bum. He's going to get probably going to get a pretty good opportunity on Friday night when in that preseason game. So I'm not saying Corral's a bum, but I'm just saying that he's not even mentioned in this quarterback competition. So he's just clearly at this point not as good as Baker and Darnold. No, he's just not ready. He's a rookie. Ole Miss is not. Yeah, he's. Again, he was 1 for 9 last week. I think he just needs to learn an actual playbook. They didn't, Ole Miss is all tempo. It's all speed. it's a much different offense than what you run in the NFL. Yes, eventually he could be. Eventually, but I think it's possible that he could be better than them. But yeah, right now he's not going to be the starter. I could see eventually being a starter. But yeah, right now he's not close to starting for the Panthers.
No, not at all. So one more thing about the Patriots, and Malcolm Butler got hurt yesterday, and he's going to be out. He's out for the year. He's going to be on season-ending IR. How big of a loss is this? I don't think it's that big of a loss. I think they weren't going to be great at corner anyways this year.
No, this Malcolm Butler signing was weird in the first place that he's coming back. But yeah, Jalen Mills is going to be our number one. It probably seems like now, which is a little worrisome. But yeah, our secondary wasn't great to start out with. It'd be nice to have another veteran guy like a Malcolm Butler out there. Jalen Mills got better, I thought, to the second half of last year. I think he kind of learned defense a lot better. But yeah, I think, it's a little bit concerning. But yeah, Malcolm Butler is not the same guy he was 5-6 years ago.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we'll recap. We're going to recap the first week of the preseason and give our 5 takeaways from week 1 of the preseason. And mine are, my first one is the way the rookie quarterbacks played. Kenny Pickett I know he played against a bunch of backups in Seattle, but Kenny Pickett was really, really good. I mean, 2 guys that could be really good in the future for the Steelers are Kenny Pickett and George Pickens. George, let me ask you this. Are you surprised George Pickens is playing the way he is in preseason?
I thought George Pickens was a really good wide receiver at Georgia, and I think the problem with him was staying on the field at times. I think he's got so much talent in the world. He runs crisp routes. He can run. He's got a lot of speed. So, no, I'm not. You kind of saw what he was able to do. Last year at times.
Oh, go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah.
Malcolm
Butler is the he's like, yeah, it is. It made no sense that he got back there. But going back to George Pickens.
Yeah, I saw like a lot of potential for him. I thought he's somebody that Steelers picked up that could be a difference maker for him. George Pickens being next. I don't know if he'll be the next great Steelers wide receiver, but again, I could see him having a really nice career. I think he's somebody that's got a lot of talent. I think he's one of the top wide receivers coming out in his class a couple years ago. So yeah, I think there's a lot of talent there, and I'm not surprised he just kind of turned their heads this weekend against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. And I think Deontay Johnson did get paid. I think he did. I'm not 100% sure about it, but I think Deontay Johnson. I think he did get paid for the Steelers. I remember he got I think he might have gotten a small deal from the Steelers. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think Deontay Johnson did get paid. But the point is, yeah, George Pickens, he's definitely going to be in that. I think he's going to be in that next generation of Steeler receivers with Hines Ward, with Plaxico Burress, with Antonio Brown. I think he's going to be in that next mold of great Steeler receivers. And also going back to the rookie quarterbacks, I think Malik Willis, he played well for the Titans, and Desmond Ritter played well for the Falcons. So I think Kenny Pickett will be the first guy to be to take the field. But I wouldn't be surprised if Malik Willis and Desmond Ritter also took the field for the Falcons for their teams this year. My second point breakaway is Watson was really rusty. Deshaun Watson looked like he hadn't played in 2 years. He was really, really rusty. Now, it might not even matter because he's probably going to get suspended for the rest of the season, for the entire season, but he was really, really rusty for the Browns. Third, Trey Lance, he looks like the guy for the 49ers. He played really, really well for the 49ers. I mean, he played well. He had that touchdown pass and Friday's game. So Trey Lance, he looks like the man for the 49ers. He looks like the Niners made the right decision there. Number 4, I know it was preseason. I understand it was preseason, but the penalties have continued for the Dallas Cowboys. 17 penalties for the Dallas Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy's got to take some accountability here, because if this goes on throughout the season, he's not going to have a job. I mean, that is absolutely pathetic. That is absolutely terrible. That is absolutely pathetic performance. 17 penalties. I know it was preseason. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy G? So we'll go back to Trey Lance thing. Tommy says, "Where's Jimmy G?" It's gonna be tough to see where he goes. Jimmy G goes. I think Jimmy G ends up going to the Browns.
Yeah, I could see it. I think Brissett's not ready, or they don't think Brissett's a guy. If they again, you only they got a good roster. They really want to go be a Super Bowl contender here, try to fight in that AFC North that's really, really competitive. Yeah, I think you got to go get Jimmy G to kind of still he is still in San Francisco.
Time that's where he's still in San Francisco. He's not a free agent yet. The Niners still have him on the roster. Obviously they're not going to keep him, but he is still on the Niners roster. So he's still there. But. It's interesting. He could still win it. In the right situation, Jimmy G could win on the right team. I think he was on a great roster. I don't think Jimmy G's a great quarterback, but with the right pieces around him, Jimmy G could still win.
I think the Niner team was really, really good. I think bringing Jimmy G causes too much of a QB conversation if he plays well. I don't over Watson. I don't know if he's talking about right now if he plays well at the Niners, or even with the Browns. They paid Deshaun Watson at such a high amount that they'll trade Jimmy G next year instead of Watson. So I found the Browns. I'm not worried about that. If he plays really, really well, you get more for the trade. So again, I think the Browns do trade for him. The Browns hope that he plays well because they'll be able to get more for him. So I could very well see. I don't think the Browns would mind Jimmy G playing well.
Yeah, not at all. So my fifth point too is Jalen Hurts. He went 6 for 6 in preseason. It's only preseason, but if Jalen Hurts can play really well this year, the Eagles are definitely a top 5 team in the NFC. But Justin, what are your top 5 takeaways from week 1 of the preseason?
My number 1 for me was the Cowboys, the 17 penalties.
You're big on that. Even though they didn't play any starters, you're big on that.
Yeah, their offensive line. I know they didn't play the start, but their offensive line, we know that needs a lot of work. But that was horrible. Their offensive line looked horrible. They did not look ready to play at whatsoever offensively. So the 17 penalty was a big eye opener because that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Get 17 penalties in one game preseason. That's hard to do. My number 2 was Malik Willis. I think he showed his running ability, but man, he missed a bunch of wide open receivers. He just he
didn't have stars. He had a bunch of backups playing with him. Yeah, but the accuracy, that's a good point there. Yeah, the accuracy was not great. So I was a little bit worried there. Again, maybe he gets his opportunity, maybe a little nerves still. Jerry Jones loves penalties. They drafted the most penalized lineman in college. Yeah, actually, I think they did. I think it may have been Tyler Smith. Yep. Tyler Smith they drafted. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, the Cowboys. The lack of discipline is really good. If it happens, they're so undisciplined this year, they won't be a playoff team. No, they won't. I think Malik Willis could be promising. The accuracy is kind of the question with him coming out of college, and we kind of saw it the other night. If he can kind of work on that, I think he's got the ability with his legs too to be so dynamic that I think he could be a really good quarterback. But it's kind of the arm, which he's got a cannon, but it's the accuracy that he's struggled with. So we'll see. I think he can. I think he turned into a really good quarterback, but the accuracy's got to come. Number 3 is the guy you texted me about, Romeo Dubas out of Nevada. Again, he's got a lot of talent. He's got so much speed. He hit over 2,200 yards his final 2 years at Nevada with Carson Strong as his quarterback. He looked really good. I think he's somebody that could definitely be an impact guy for the Green Bay Packers. Number 4, Trey Lance. I think he looked really good. Now, obviously, yes, it is kind of preseason. Let's see what he does, week 1. But I do think it's something good for him to build off of. And, I thought he did look pretty good for week 1 and preseason. And then, number 5 with me was bad luck with the Jets. We talked about Zach Wilson. We talked about Becton. The poor Jets, they kind of felt like, again, like they're not going to be a playoff team, but you kind of felt like they were trending in the right direction. It just kind of, they avoid the worst case scenario, but just some more kind of bad luck there for the Jets. And then the hit too on Quincy Williams too on Jalen Hurts too. Former teammates as well. Quincy playing from Alabama. Wow. I don't know if you saw that hit, but he crossed. I saw it, and Nick Sirianni was not thrilled about that. And I don't blame him.
Now, I guess for Ross, at least your guys are playing hard, but yeah, that kind of crossed the line there, especially for preseason. But yeah, those are my 5 takeaways from week 1.
All righty, now time to talk about my team and their performance against the Patriots. I'm really looking at those 2 series when the starters played, and honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. I know, it's listening to John about the G-men and Joe and Isaiah, and we're saying, oh, well, you should just be happy we got points on the board. We're going up against the backups. We're going against the Patriots backups. I want 7 points on the board. I don't want 3 points on the board. That cost us 2 games last year, at least 2 or 3 games last year. The fact we couldn't cash in the red zone. It was the reason we lost the Atlanta game. It helped. It was one of the reasons we lost the Washington game, and it was the reason we lost the Kansas City game too. When we get in the red zone, I want to score touchdowns. I don't want there to be field goals. If Daniel Jones if we keep kicking field goals in the red zone, Daniel Jones will be gone. So I was a little disappointed there with the offense there and the offensive line. That sack on that second drive that completely ended that drive. So I was a little disappointed with the offensive line. I was a little disappointed that Daniel Jones didn't get the ball in the red zone. And on defense, Aaron Robinson was absolutely terrible. He was absolutely terrible in man coverage. Aaron Robinson was horrible, and he's gonna be one of the key corners on this team. And again, for Wick Martindale, if this team struggles in man coverage, you got to make adjustments. That's what got you fired last year. What got you fired is you didn't make adjustments. That's why you were 32nd in the league in passing, is you didn't have Marcus Peters or Merlin Humphrey, and you continue to play man coverage. He should not continue to play man coverage, be this aggressive all the time with average to below average corners. So yeah, on both sides of the ball, I was a little bit disappointed with the Giants' performance.
Yeah, the Giants offensively, yeah, they should put more points up the board. I see his comment. Saquon, yeah, he didn't play last week, but yeah, he from the highlights I've seen from camp, he's looked pretty good. But
Saquon,
again,
no, he played last week. He played last week. He played in those 2 series.
He was in there.
He wasn't much of a factor, but he played.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he did play. I forgot about because he wasn't much. I forgot he did get in there. Daniel Jones is Eli doppelganger. Daniel Jones, Daniel's had a rough career, but yeah, the Giants got to put some points on at least 7, against the Patriots backups there. Which that's a little disappointing there against their second team. It is going to cost them the job. Again, Tyrod Taylor's been a star in this league, so again, Daniel Jones, there's a lot of pressure on him.
And they asked Dave all questions. Is Tyrod Taylor going to start? And he didn't say completely. He said Daniel's our guy, but he didn't say definitively that he wasn't good. That Daniel was their guy. Was their guy 100%. So you wouldn't be surprised if I would be surprised if Tyrod Taylor starts some games this year.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. He's a veteran guy. He's been a star in this league. He got the playoffs with that Bills team, so a couple years ago. But yeah, he's in the playoffs with them. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Walker fans who was Sunday during football season looks like how can you possibly watch every game? We want to answer this in a minute after we talk about the job. I'll wrap up my Giants thing and we can get into that. But yeah, Aaron Robinson he wasn't great either at UFC. Like their defenses were so bad that I don't know if it was all on him. It wasn't all on him, but their defenses when he played at UCF were so bad. I wasn't a huge fan coming out of college, but yeah, again, Doran burnt him multiple times, and that's very worrisome. He's going to be one of your starting cornerbacks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what happens there. And we got a couple comments. We'll get to this one comment on YouTube. He says, "Hot take: Jets will make the playoffs with Flacco starter." Come on, dude. There is no way the Jets make the playoffs with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. That's not happening. I got Saquon in fantasy. Pray for me. Yeah, I know Saquon's had a lot of injury history. We'll see. And he says, I got to light the candles before every Giants game. So Saquon, yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. And Tommy says, so walk your fans through what a Sunday during the football season looks like. How can you possibly watch every game? That could be a show in itself, how the Clover team monitors all the games and information. I think a big way to watch every game, if your team's not playing, is the Red Zone channel. I think that's the biggest way to monitor your fantasy guys, monitor everything that's going on, because the Red Zone channel's got everything. So I'd highly recommend buying the Red Zone channel. That is huge, because Sunday ticket's a lot of money. That would be the first thing you would do with Sunday ticket, but that's a lot. I think that's a little too much. The Red Zone channel, very reasonably priced. I would definitely buy the Red Zone channel. I think that there's a lot of there's a lot there. You see everything. You see pretty much every scoring play. So I would recommend that. And another comment we got is Catanius Tony healthy. I think he's got potential. Yeah, I think Tony's got potential. But again, he's got to stay healthy. And I don't know how committed the Giants are to him because they talked about trading him in the offseason.
Yeah, we'll see how healthy he is. Again, I think Wendell Robinson's like another Kadarius Toney. I think you could use him like that. So I know, Tony could stay healthy. I think, having him and Robinson are going to be good, just for more of a depth piece. But yeah, we'll see if Tony can stay healthy, stay on the field this year. And yeah, Sundays for me, I try to have two monitors on. I try to have like two games going on at once. Like the Patriots are playing, now I have Red Zone on. I also, I always try to use Red Zone. I also go back and watch highlights too. If I didn't really watch a ton of a game, I do try to go back and watch all the highlights and kind of, see what I can get from there as well. Because yeah, there is so much going on, and you can only watch so much at one time. So especially if if our teams are on too, it's like you kind of want to dig in and watch them, and you kind of can't focus on everything else. So yeah, I think go Red Zone and then going back for me, watching all the highlights of everything around the league kind of helps me out as well.
One thing I will do, and I'll promise the fans this year, I'll watch every Giants and Pats game, and then I'll watch the highlights of every single game. I'll watch the highlights. So I'll watch all the Giants and Pats and the games that are on TV, and then I'll pretty much watch all the highlights of all the games. So you guys are up to speed with everything that's going on in every game, and obviously during the season we're going to be making our picks for every game. So you guys are up to speed with everything. I'll be watching all the highlights, and I'll be watching every Giants and Pats and every game that's on nationally. Yeah,
absolutely. Same thing with me. Watching Giants Pats every game. Going watch back at the highlights, doing all that. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do all that. We'll make sure that everybody's kind of caught up to speed. Kind of, we try to figure out the. I know it's only we go on Wednesdays and we try to, find the injury reports and kind of see if we know who's playing or not. But yeah, we try to keep you guys all up to speed week in and week out.
Absolutely. So we'll get to the Giants' preseason game on Sunday against the Bengals. Bengals look like Joe Burrow's definitely not going to play. It looks like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson. It looks like all those guys are not going to play. And for the Giants, I don't know what they're going to do with their starters, but if their starters play, I want to see them go a quarter and a half. And I want to see them when they're done. I want to see them ahead. I want to see them winning the game, and I want to see at least a touchdown being scored. And I want to see the defense, have a couple stops. If they're going to face Brendan Allen, I want to see a couple stops, and I want to see Kayvon Thibodeau be more involved. That was the issue defensively. Another issue with me Thursday night was Kayvon Thibodeau wasn't as involved. Now the big factor of that could have been the fact that Ojulari and Leonard Williams weren't playing, but I do want to see that see Kayvon Thibodeau more involved. But the main goal is I'm looking for the fact that we're winning after our starters aren't playing. Not like it was last Thursday. I want to be winning once our starters are done.
Yeah, for the Giants, your offense, especially, you're going against Brandon Allen, and you're not facing much of their top weapons. So, you expect the Giants to be ahead in that game on Sunday night. You need to see Jennings, I think finishing in the red zone is going to be huge. You got to get a lead. Yeah, Thibodeau, especially, I want to see Thibodeau, be more involved because we've heard such good things about him out of training camp that he's looked really, really good. And, last week didn't make a huge impact, but yet you want to kind of see him make that impact, especially because he's going to be such a huge key to this defense this year. You kind of want to see him get a couple stops this weekend against Cincinnati, especially you go up against their second team offensive line. You hope he's able to kind of have a big weekend and play well in Cincinnati and kind of really get himself involved this week. So. Yeah, Giant Daniel Jones at offense, because especially Tyrod Taylor plays well too. Yet it, plays well again. More pressure on Daniel Jones. So yeah, Daniel Jones got to kind of keep Tyrod Taylor kind of in the back seat there if he wants to keep that Giants job. So these games are really important for Daniel Jones. He's got to play well and kind of show Brian Dable and the rest of that team that he can be the starting quarterback.
Absolutely, without question. But Justin's going to be happy because we're going to talk some college football. The AP Top 25 has been released, and the NBA Christmas schedule. And today, actually, I think the whole NBA schedule is going to be released, but the Christmas schedule has already been released. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at Shamrock Home Inspections.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
Alrighty, so the AP top 25 is out, and obviously the top three, there's really no surprise with Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia. Obviously, Georgia, the defending national champ. Ohio State bringing back C.J. Stroud, and Alabama bringing back Bryce Young. Is this going to be one of these years, kind of different from last year, where it's pretty much those three teams and everybody else, they're all on their own level? Personally, I think so, because of how good because you got the two best teams and the two best quarterbacks in the country with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and they're clearly the two best quarterbacks in the country. You couldn't say that last year. And Georgia, I know they lost a lot. They lost 5 first-round picks on that defense, but their quarterback's coming back in Stenson Bennett, and I think they're pretty much going to reload on defense. So I think they are going to be. It is those three teams, clearly the top three teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think those three teams are going to be kind of far and away the best three. Clemson, I think, is going to be better, but they just lost their defensive end in Xavier Thomas, who's probably going to miss 6-8 weeks. It sounds like. So, I expect Clemson to play better. Texas had to cut some QB check to B7, they got a vote somehow. They got a number one vote somehow from the Coaches Poll. I don't know who voted for him. But yeah, I think those three are. And Nick Saban said, last year was a rebuild for him, which, kind of was. You got Bryce Young coming back, and you probably have the most dominant defensive player that we've seen in college football prices, the dominant two, and Will Anderson. So
Will Anderson's beast. He had 17 sacks last year.
Yeah, he very well could win the Heisman this year. I would not be shy. I think Georgia way too high for losing one of the best college defenses.
Yes, but I disagree there because they have their quarterback returning, and I think they have some Carter. He's a top pick. They have a really good tight end. I think they're one of the elite programs where they're just going to rebuild. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Bennett's good enough. That defense had so much depth last year. They lost. They got 3 coming back. They lost 8. But even on the second team, they had a lot of talent that. Again, it's like Alabama. Like, we're not ever shocked when Alabama loses 8 guys on the defensive end because they have 5-star. Georgia's got a bunch of 5-star guys that were second team last year that are filled that hole this year, and they're going to play well. Now, they're not going to be as dominant on defense. Again, that's we're probably in this day and age, we're never probably going to see a defense that dominant as it was last year in Georgia, but they're still going to be right there.
Yeah, all right. I know Stenson Bennett is mid. He's average. But he's got a lot of experience. He could be a very good college quarterback this year. Yeah, the guy's got no pro future. The guy's going to be like a 6th or 7th round pick in the pros. But he could be a good college quarterback with experience.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy, too, that played JUCO ball. Like, again, this is probably his 5th, 6th year college. Like, he's been in college for a while now. He's been through it. Yeah, Eric Gilbert should be back, the big tight end they should have this year. He should be returning as well. Georgia still got some weapons. Again, they always have 3 good running backs. They're going to be able to run the football again. Alabama recruiting is too different. Listen, it's Kirby Smart. I know it's 2 different languages, but since Kirby Smart's gotten there, the gap has closed. The gap has closed. Definitely has. And you saw it in the national championship game last year. I thought in the SEC championship game they had no chance. Alabama had no chance to beat Georgia. They come back. Georgia beats them a month later, and they look dominant. He finally got and I know Alabama had a lead too in the 4th quarter, but Georgia in that 4th quarter really took it to him. Get Kirby Smart. I've had my issues with Kirby, but again, he's done a fantastic job with that program. He's definitely elevated it to that level. They are on the Ohio State, and where they are with Clemson as well. They've separated themselves from the pack. from the rest of the pack, and they're kind of on the top elite level tier. So, yeah, I think Georgia's going to come back. Again, they're going to win the East. I think second place is really wide open, the SEC East, but they should win it. It's not going to be as easy as last year, but they should still win the East pretty comfortably. But, yeah, going back to Ohio State, they're going to be C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison, Jackson, Nika Smith, who had an outstanding Rose Bowl. Ohio State and Alabama, those three pretty much you kind of feel comfortable to be locked into a playoff spot this year.
Yeah, definitely. So for the top 10, who is your team that you would have out of the two? Who's your team you would have is in the top 10 that you would have out of the top 10?
I'd go with A&M, and I know I've been a big A&M guy. A lot of people down. I don't know why. I don't get
that either. Maybe it's the fact he just had played with really good receivers. He played with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Smith and Jigba last year. Maybe that's the reason why. But I think, and the thing is with the Ohio State quarterback, there's very few that have worked. I mean, Justin Fields is trying to work. Trying to work with the Bears, but yeah, just very few Ohio State quarterbacks have worked. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I was going to bring up. When I saw that comment, because and every quarterback's different, so like you can't really base it off that. But I could see why people kind of feel that way about Ohio State quarterback. Yeah, but again, CJ Stroud's been as good as any other Ohio State quarterback out there. So again, one of these quarterbacks has to turn out it's a great pro for Ohio State. Maybe CJ Stroud's that guy. We'll find out in the draft. I think LSU should be higher. They got a lot of talent, but I'm not a big Jaden Daniels fan. I think Brian Kelly did a phenomenal job at Notre Dame and got them to their ceiling. But that's a tough West. I even think in the SEC West second place could be pretty open. I think A&M should finish second. But but with my A&M point, they were 8-4 last year. And we always call it, Jimbo Fisher's always been known as like the quarterback whisperer. But other than Jameis Winston, what other quarterback has he really developed at the college level?
None. None. And I agree. Yeah. None. No quarterback.
Yeah, actually, you can. What's your other point? I know you.
No. Go ahead.
I didn't know you had another one. Okay.
You go ahead.
I think actually it's I think I remember LSU being like 14th. Maybe
they're not in the coaches poll. LSU is not in the coach. LSU is not in the AP poll. Maybe in the coaches poll they're 14. I don't know if they.
No, they're not even in.
Poll.
No, they're not. No, they're not in either poll. But yeah, going back to A&M, Haynes King got injured last year, so I understand why they were 8-4. They kind of showed the quarterback position, but they're the first team to finish in the top or be picked in the top 10 to go 8-4 the year prior since Notre Dame in 1983. Like, I think A&M's a really good team, but I don't think they're the sixth best team in the country. I think Haynes King could be a really good quarterback, but I got to see it first. And Jimbo, this is a huge year for him. I know they went 10-1 in 2020, but other than that, it's been 8-4. He's had the best recruiting class in college football history coming in this year. I know they're not all gonna make a difference this year, but this is a big year for Jimbo to really kind of prove it to A&M and everybody else that he can turn this program into a national championship contender. Because he can't go 8-4 again, and so I think it's a big year for Jimbo. I think they're a good team, but they should not be sixth. No,
and I think they should be out of the top 10 too. I think that's my team, who I think should be out of the top 10 because you know who their quarterback's going to be, and they lost Isaiah Spiller. So for me, I think I think having them at 6, they're really overrated being at 6. But here's another one: who is the team that is not in the top 25 that should be in the top 10 that should be in the top 10? And I think it's NC State because of Devin Leary. Wow. I put NC State is my team, who I think that isn't in the top 10 that should be in the top 10 because of the quarterback.
Absolutely. I love Devin Leary. Again, I think he'd be this year's Kenny Pickett. Even though he had 35 touchdowns to 5 interceptions last year, nobody ever talked about him. He's not he's 6'1", he's not much of a runner, but he's got an arm. They got 10 guys back on the defense, and that includes, bringing back Derek Thompson, that linebacker who missed all of last year. Peyton Wilson on the other side at the linebacker position, really good as well. They're two of the top, linebackers of the all ACC. So I really love this NC State team. I think Dave Doran's done an unbelievable job, and I think he's very underrated. I think Utah's number 7 in the country right now. They're going to be another really good team this year. But yeah, I think NC State. I love NC State. I think they got to go to Clemson, But I think this team could be 11-1. It would not shock me. I love Dave Doran, such a heck of a coach. And I got NC State as well in the top. They should be in the top 10.
Yeah. So who's your team that is in the top 25 that shouldn't be in the top 25? And I'm going with Ole Miss. They lost Matt Corral, and Jackson Dart was not great at USC last year. He didn't win a ton of games at USC last year, especially without Drake London. So my team that's in the top 25 that shouldn't be is Ole Miss.
I can see that one. Again, they're definitely going to step back. I think part of Jackson Dart's problem was their line was so atrocious. That's why I think they're very overrated this year. I don't like them because they're not good up front. I think Utah is going to obliterate them. Well, not obliterate, but I don't think they're beating Utah. I don't think they're going to beat the Ducks either.
Who, USC?
I think they're overrated. I think they're very overrated.
I don't know. But they got Caleb Williams. They got Jordan Addison, and they got Dye from Oregon. I think there's a good chance. I think that there's a chance they could win that Pac-12. I don't know if they make the playoff, but I think there's a chance they win the Pac-12 in year one. I know you don't like the defense or the offensive line, but what wins in college football, they kind of have the pieces. I mean, they don't have all the pieces. They got some pieces there.
They do. They get the skill. But look at Oregon last year. Look at what Utah did with them. Utah absolutely obliterated them up front.
I don't know.
I think Utah's going to do that.
Jason's gonna like you. He's a big Utah guy, and you're a big Utah guy too. I'm not as big of a Utah guy. I think they have a really good chance to win the Pac-12, but they don't have the upside of a USC in terms of at the quarterback position.
They can't all be pretty. It's Utah. It's not.
I know.
They can't get the 5 4 stars.
I know.
Kyle Williams did a phenomenal job there. The league and Rise are really good coach, but Kalen Williams was up and down last year. I think up front, I think that's what's going to kill him. I still think you still get, these games still are important. You still, I think, win or lose games, in the trenches. And I don't think USC is going to win a lot of those games. I really don't. Where they go USC, okay. Yeah. There's a bunch of OU guys now that are out at USC.
Yeah.
Lincoln did. Yeah. And I think it shows how good, Lincoln is. But, yeah, going back to I'll kind of finish Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin, I think he's done a really good job at Ole Miss. Their first 10-win season at Ole Miss in program history. But yeah, I think they're going to take a step back. But Jackson Dart coming in, I think going to help. But yeah, I think they were right there too. Mine was Wake Forest, and the only why I went Wake Forest because Sam Hartman's going to miss some time, and I just don't like their defense. Their defense is going to be much better.
Defense was bad last year. Didn't Clemson put up like 40 points on them? Yeah,
they did. Army put up that was a crazy one. Army 56 on them. I know Wake put up 70, but they probably have the worst secondary in the ACC or right there with it. They're probably 13th and 14th unit wise. So I that's the only reason why. If Sam Hartman was in there, I probably would have gone Ole Miss. But without Hartman, again, nobody knows how much time he's going to miss. They do have Michael Griffiths, who they do like, and they thought he had a solid spring. But I think with Wake Forest's defense, I think they could struggle a bit. That's the only reason why I went to Demon Deacons.
Yeah. So I could see that because of their defense and Hartman being out. But now we'll get to the teams that are not in the top, a team that's not in the top 25 that should be in the top 25. And for me, that's Texas. It's Texas because of really one guy, Bijan Robinson. He could be the best running back in the country. Another guy, Xavier Worthy. I know the quarterback's a question, but I think when you got a Bijan Robinson on your team, you should be in the top 25.
Yeah, Bijan's right there. Quinn Hughes, I think, is going to win the job. Again, he was top quarterback coming out of last year's class, and whatever Stark has been, especially now with the Manning commitment, whatever he told the Mannings, they bought it and it's something good. So yeah, for me, I got to see Stark prove it this year. I really do. I need to see him prove it to me this year. I thought last year they were up and down. I thought they were better than what they were under Herman. I got to see, I think it's a prove it year for Steve Sarkisian. I think they are going the right direction. That was a close one for me, but I'm going with Rocky Top and Devolves. I love
it's good with Hooker.
Yep. And I think they could be the second best team in the East this year. I really do. Hayden Hooker, the way they could score. Last 3 years they've had Heupel's had a top 10 offenses in the country. I think yet again, they should be number 4 for him. defense should be a little bit more improved. It's still not going to be great, but it should be better. Especially in the back end. I think they should get a little bit better in the back end. But I do love this Vols team. Again, last year they lost 25 kids at the transfer portal. It was they were dealing with all that. He came into a very tough situation, and he did all he could. And Josh Heupel did a phenomenal job. I really like where this Tennessee team's headed. I think Tennessee's finally got the right guy where they're headed in the right direction. I got the Vols. I think the Vols could have a very, very positive year, and that fan base can finally start feeling some excitement because it's been a while for them.
Yeah, it's been too long. Yeah, I definitely think they could beat Kentucky. I think they could be better than Kentucky. I know Kentucky's got a lot of hype, but I think but they did lose Wendell Robinson, so I think Tennessee could definitely beat Kentucky. And they play Kentucky at Tennessee, right?
Yes, I believe they do.
So they should. So
I think
that's gonna be a really good game. But I think Tennessee could win that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tennessee. I think it's in mid October. I believe that game is. Yeah, October 29th, right before Tennessee goes to Georgia. So that's a big one for that because you don't want to lose two straight. Kentucky's got some fire now from Calipari.
Calipari, yeah. And what the heck, John Calipari? Stop talking. Come on. I mean, you lost to St. Peter's and didn't make the tournament the year before. You lost to St. Peter's. Stop talking about a growing football program. Maybe you're jealous that you only won one national title with all those NBA guys. You're one of the most overrated coaches in the country. But stop talking about football. Why don't you say the football program is great and our program is great? Not to say, but you have to say we're a basketball school. Yeah, you obviously are a basketball school, but stop saying it. Give the football team some credit.
Yeah, I know. Cal too had to say this down when he was in the Bahamas too. He couldn't say this while he's down the hallway from Stoops. Stoops would have gone in there and had some words for him. But Cal, that's why he's a selfish. I can't stand Cal. I don't know if you heard Stoops comment, but he's like, I didn't get my program on third base, which he's right. He's right.
Exactly.
Cal done nothing, and Kentucky fans can't stand Calipari either, which is even funnier. But hey, that's Calipari in a nutshell for us. So yeah, Kentucky too. Will Levis too. The Penn State made the mistakes not giving him the.
I know.
The job.
The problem was they pulled him too early. They just didn't let him work through his issues. They pulled him too early. I mean, I know they won like three or four meaningless games, but instead of winning those 3 or 4 meaningless games, go 2-9. Let Levis work through his issues, and then you could be a national title contender. You could be a national title contender this year. But now they're going to be 9-3, 8-4, like they typically are. But if they stick with Levis, maybe they're probably our national title contender because he was a kid that Franklin recruited.
Yeah, absolutely, he could be. Crazy too. 2 top 10 picks would be from Connecticut. 2 Connecticut school quarterbacks.
Tyler Van Dyke and Will Levis. Yeah,
Will Levis.
Yep.
They're both prototypical court. With the size and all that, they got the arm strength. So. Yeah, Will Levis, Kentucky, they're going to be right there again. It's great to see what Mark Stoops is on with that program because they were a mess and they were with Vandy every year. But yeah, he's done a phenomenal job with that program. It's great to see.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely done an outstanding job with that program. But we got to wrap up the show. We're going to wrap up the show with the Christmas Day schedule in the NBA. We got some really good matchups. Warriors, Grizzlies. That's going to be really fun watching the Grizzlies team that is trying to be a championship contender play the team in the Western Conference and the Golden State Warriors. You got the Mavericks and the Lakers. You got Luka going up against LeBron. We got the Nuggets and the Suns. You got Jokic going up against a good Suns team. You got Knicks Sixers. That'll probably be the first game of. I think that I'm not totally sure, but I think that's probably be the first game of the day. Usually the Knicks are the noon game, and then you got the defending Eastern Conference champions going up against Giannis. So some really exciting games. I think the two I'm the most excited for are Warriors, Grizzlies, and Celtics, Bucks. And it's crazy. Luka, LeBron is like third on the list. That shows you how good the slate is.
Yeah, the terrific slate. It's starting to lose some of those losses with the NFL kind of going with Christmas Day too now. But it's probably, I would say, I think this is the official kind of start to the NBA season, I feel like too. I think Christmas is when that's the first day that really everybody kind of tunes in the NBA, I feel like. It is a huge year. It's a huge day for them. But yeah, Golden State, Memphis should be a fun one. Morant versus Curry. yeah, LeBron, the Lakers team, what's this Lakers team look like? How healthy are they? Luka sounds like he's in the best shape of his life too. It sounds like, he's on a mission this year. Nuggets and Suns, two teams that have some really good young core guys, two teams that,
And we got a comment about the Knicks. The Knicks gave us charcoal on Christmas. And that game against the Sixers is, if Harden is the same Harden we saw in the playoffs, that game is clear. They better put the game that game should be at noon, because that game is clearly 5 out of 5. Yeah,
that's a bad one. And Donovan Mitchell may, they get it, the Knicks Mitchell trade comes done. Brings a little bit more excitement. I think that's what the NBA is hoping for, that Donovan Mitchell's in a Knicks jersey. They'll help arrange for that game. But yeah, if Harden's not very good, it's gonna be, if he struggles again, it's gonna be an ugly one. Yeah, Boston, Milwaukee, that's been a fun little series. Tatum versus Giannis, two of the best young guys, superstars in the game. So yeah, the 5 NBA games should Christmas Day games are usually pretty fun. Always go back and forth that, and I got the Diamond Head Classic too. That's always trying to go back and forth.
That's your college basketball, right?
Yeah, yep. Out in Hawaii.
Wow.
Always go back and forth those.
Of course, you're watching your college basketball. You love watching that. You definitely love watching that. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week talking about the Yankees and recapping week 2 of the preseason. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.